I've watched a lot of Michael Vaughn recaps, and PNW, what does she call her channel? Missing PNW Crimes Revisited. She probably has another channel too. But Samantha, she deserves a lot of credit. She's put herself through a lot, and I'm not even white knighted. I'm not even trying to be that way. I like to going back through it now because you get past the people who are confused about the situation at that point in time, right? And compared to where we are now in the Michael Vaughn situation, you could go back and use a lot of your hindsight and recognize things that are difficult or more difficult for you in the moment, in the time. Now, currently, with respect to Michael Vaughn's from Fruitland, Idaho, there's a preliminary hearing going on right now to wade through the evidence against that son of a bitch, Stacy Wander. This guy is something else. And you can draw a lot of parallels with the situation with Jack and Lily Sullivan. I never normally like to do that. But what I mean with that is it's the conspiracy after the fact. It's the engagement with the YouTube audience, the social media interviews, the utter denials, the reasons for having to lie. But that's goes without saying, I think. What else? The fact that there's more than one more than one person involved. So it's very complex structure and the sequence of events as to who did the unaliving, who did the event, the principal, and then there's after the fact, who did what, who knew what, and when. But in this case with Michael Vaughn, there's, in my opinion, before we get started, in my opinion, the situation with Michael Vaughn, they say that their motivation, or there's a factor of a $10,000 sum of cash reward at the end of it. And because, and although you can't rule that out, you don't know at this point in time. We need some more evidence, but I'm thinking, the way that I take it, that's just a simple cop-out for wanting to fess up to the actual reasons that they kidnapped and unalived young Michael Vaughn. Now, that's just my personal opinion. It's not important to the grand scheme of things, but there's nothing that we haven't actually went through here on this channel, although the videos, because this was way back in 2021 and it developed over the course of some years, we've unlisted some. Now there's still a real problem going around, by the way, by way of that idiot True Crime with Eve. And if you know, you know. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Stick around. But when it comes to the case with Stacy Wander, what a bizarre situation. Another thing that it has in common with the Jack and Lily situation is the overwhelming amount of solid circumstantial evidence in order to move forward with a no-body prosecution. I think that legally wise, that's probably the strongest parallel that they have. Now, it's baffling when you take a look at what information is available even out there in the public with regards to the situation, and to know that Stacy Wander is directing officers around as to the burial site, and there's 5 to 9 dogs, decomposition dogs, hitting on a spot in the backyard where this guy has admitted to or knowing about I'm just trying to be as respectful as possible about how I talk about Monkey Vaughn. It's difficult, and I know that Brandy Vaughn, and my heart goes out to her, and I'm glad that she's looking like she's feeling better, or she's on the mend. If she hasn't gone through enough, she had to get a liver transplant of all things. And she's recovering. She's still alive and with us, and she's testified, as a matter of fact, and she's even made a particular short, I will call it a YouTube short, that stood out to me last night, that I saw it on Purple Phoenixes. And we'll take a look at that as well. But I thought I'd bring you up to date about all of the things that are interesting, and they'll spin off some talking points. Now, I went through and I listened to one of the most powerful pieces of YouTube that I think that I've come across ever, personally, in these cases, took place on Samantha's panel. And it had to do with Brandy Vaughn confronting a very arrogant, cocky, disturbing individual, Stacy Wander. And this man has admitted to being involved in all of this. But you can tell that he's not quite aware of all of the laws in that sense when he's talking to the cops. And I mean, even in the body cam footage, we'll call it the leaked body cam footage, where it had him conversing and directing operations with the excavation and the investigation in the backyard. So it seems that the bodies were moved after the fact, and he's up there implementing everybody but himself. And it's just too simplistic in my mind about this. I mean, I'm just not saying it's impossible, but I never heard of anything like that. Like, your motivation was going to be a $10,000 payoff for each of you. That seems, now, who's making that deal? Like, I mean, that's really preying on vulnerable minds. Be careful about that trap, because listen, if that was the case and you're admitting to it and then not wanting to give up the person who was offering that money up to you, if it was an accurate claim, it doesn't seem, to be very sound of we'll call it a motivation. Not that it's important to the case or what happens. It just seems like a way that they're distancing themselves from the truth of the situation. Like, this story has everything. It has all of these weird idiots together in that house. And they're all living this open, freaky deaky, fucked up, Sodom and Gomorrah-like lifestyle up in there. And they're all on different substances. They're all associating with sex offenders, registered and not. And they're running these what they call businesses, like a taxi business and this auto repair business, or I forgot what it was exactly, but they're bullshit businesses, okay? And he goes and he operates and he advertises them on Craigslist, and the dude's a scammer. He's a Craigslist carny. Basically, he's a chauffeur and security for other sex offenders. The best you can put things together. And, you can tell that not just Stacy, we won't even talk about Sarah yet, but Brandon specifically, Adrian's slippery. Nobody knows where he is. Somewhere. He should be behind bars at this point in time. But Brandon, this guy has a memory that is questionable. The way that he answers his questions, you can tell that he is trying to skirt any of the answers. Not that Samantha pressed them any, but he gets to a point of putting it aside and writing it down so he can think about it a little bit later as to come up with if he did something or if he remembers this or that or this and the other thing. You know, it's just your memory doesn't work like that. You know, he's been around and familiar with the situation with Michael Vaughn since the beginning because they've been involved. Far beyond that at this point in time. So I might revisit a few of those clips. Remember, JLR had a great Brandon Shirtlift interview that he goes up on Samantha's and says, it says that he was caught off guard. The guy was drunk and shirtless in this jacuzzi in the winter, giving JLR this interview. And he wants to come back and talk about it after the fact, that he just thought, you know, as though it would matter, you know, it would matter at all. He just wants to make it look like things are being blown out of proportion, and he's having trouble with his memory. Meanwhile, Brandon in this so far has, the allegation would be that of an accessory after the fact and beyond, destruction of evidence. If not more. You know, we don't exactly know. But this case is an example of how Jack and Lily's could go down in that sense. Being that we can't find Jack and Lily Sullivan at this point in time. So people are always worried about that for their own reasons. And this is a situation where overwhelming circumstantial evidence would suggest that they are involved. Not to mention the evidence that they have from Stacy Wander, who wants to backtrack after the fact about his statements, which a little hard to do that. You're not going to do that in this circumstance. It makes no sense. He's admitted they had him really confessing and then shut down after he probably realized what he was doing. So let's see. Michael Vaughn's parents testify in the suspect's preliminary hearing. This is from yesterday, but it gives you how things went in court. This preliminary hearing is going over a few days, the 3rd through the 6th, I believe. I'm sure it'll say in a second. Out of Payette County, Idaho, the man accused of kidnapping an unaliving 5-year-old Michael Vaughn in 2021 will appear in court on Tuesday at 9 a.m. for a preliminary hearing. Stacy Wander is charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, destruction of evidence, and a persistent violator charge in connection with Vaughn's death. Now, a persistent violator. What is a persistent violator? So, in Idaho, a persistent violator charge, also commonly referred to as a habitual offender or 3 strikes enhancement, is a sentencing enhancement under Idaho Code 192514. It applies when a person convicted of a felony for the 3rd time or more, and it significantly increases the potential prison sentence for that 3rd felony conviction. Any person convicted for the 3rd time of committing a felony is considered a persistent violator of the law. What a fucking prick. Of course he is. He's looking at the death penalty. And this Idaho, they don't play. They don't play. They don't even have to notify you until, 60 days after you file a plea? Then they'll tell you if they're seeking the death penalty. And they will be. I'm fairly confident in that. Yeah, they even have a firing squad up in Idaho. So, really, in a way, depending on how you look at it, it could be a lot more humane in that sense. They fast track this offender through to the firing squad. It's cheap on the taxpayer. Holy shit. I mean, you can't disagree with it, but hopefully it doesn't get misused. You never find out until long after the fact. But we're talking about this case specifically. Good to see you, Opal. Thank you for continuing to cover Sweet Michael's case. No worries. Oh, Brandy is a strong woman. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry she has to go through this, but we're past all of that. It's such a important case in the grander scheme of things because it's miles ahead. Of course, they're not going to tell you, or at this point in time, we don't know. We will someday, about the complications in bringing this case to, from beginning to end. Because they're walking around free. Do you know what I mean? They're walking around free, and they had to go and make a public service announcement to everybody to dox the fuck out of them across the nation with their faces, the ones that you see on your screen, and tell you that they have everything to do with this, but yet they're still walking around. Do you hear that, Daniel? That's what they should be doing in that situation, in my opinion. Oh! Oh, Anastasia in Cleveland. Good to see you. Is it cold where you are right now, or is it warm? It was warm here today. Double digits. High 40s, low 50s. Let me finish reading this. So Stacy Wander is charged with first-degree unaliving, kidnapping, destruction of evidence. There's something that we never factored into Jack and Lily. The destruction of evidence, the raking in the driveway that Janie's guilty of. And just another thing. Destruction of evidence, a persistent violator charge. Vaughn, affectionately referred to as Monkey, disappeared in July of 2021 from outside his home in Fruitland. Law enforcement extradited Wandra from Arizona to Idaho in November 2025, where he was serving time for unrelated charges. Wandra's preliminary hearing is scheduled to last the entire week, but it remains to be seen if it will take that long. This preliminary hearing is effectively acting as a mini trial where the prosecution is calling witnesses and arguing that there is probable cause to move these charges along to district court and to go to trial. There won't be a jury or finding of guilt. The defense is challenging the prosecution's presentation by cross-examining witnesses and can also introduce its own evidence. Oh, good luck with that. There will be some truths heard, and it's going to be really emotional. It's going to be really hard, Michael's mother, Brandy Vaughn, told KTVB. I expect we'll be getting more of the pieces of the puzzle put together. So this KTVB Channel 7 is dropping live updates. I'm not sure if it's over for the day. But it goes through the 9 a.m. Brandy Vaughn, Michael's mom, her daughter, and other family members and friends are sitting in the front row of the courtroom. Stacy Wander walked into the courtroom wearing dress clothes and shackles. 3 people are seated at prosecution table and 3 attorneys are flanking Wandra at the defense table. State presents opening statements. Prosecuting attorney Michael Duke says this case is pretty straightforward. Duke told the judge testimony will start off from the parents, who will describe when they became aware Michael was missing. His testimony will go over law enforcement's efforts and their utilization of a live scent track dog. Duke said testimony will cover the main part of the investigation and how law enforcement determined it wasn't a walk-off. Once it was ruled out that Michael didn't go to the field or canal, they began to examine the possibility a crime was committed. The investigation led to the Wanderers. Yeah, so a bit of a side note there. Something that I hadn't stuck out to me earlier that picked up today that you might not otherwise know is at that point in time, the scent dogs the scent dogs tracking Monkey Michael led right to Stacy Wander's house. That's how good the dogs were. Compare that, think about that and how they were used in Jack and Lily in that sense. Different dogs, but the same thing. These dogs, when they're on a scent, and they should have been on a scent, you know what I mean? If the kids were truly missing in that sense. Those dogs picked up on Monkey's scent by using a shoe. I think there was a blanket and something else in there. And they let the dogs do their thing. And those damn scent dogs walked like 3 blocks or 4 blocks, however far it is, up to Red Wing, and went right to Stacy Wander's front door. Can you fucking believe it? Like, those sounds like those dogs solved this. You know, but obviously dogs can't write and fill out forms. Now hold on. Let's see. Duke told the judge the testimony we can't expect to hear is there conflicting statements that drew the attention initially. Live scent track dogs led to the Wandras, and it was the only home they showed interest in. Holy fuck. Stupid fucking dogs. You know what I mean? They'll get you every time. The dogs fucking had your ass right away. I can't believe that. You know, I didn't realize, I thought it was, the dogs were only a factor when they were identifying remains after the fact. But as they're searching for Michael, they led right to Stacy's house. That's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. But even in the moment, how do you rely on that? Like, you can't all of a sudden go, wow, you can't give 100% credibility. There has to be more to it. Like, yeah, it's a thing. They had a strong scent there, but I'm just saying, in the moment, you have to consider a little different. After the fact, you're realizing that those dogs were so accurate. You're like, wow. And Stacy Wander, you remember his interview in jail? He was always referring to the dogs as he refers to the dogs as something else. He undermines the dogs' abilities in that sense. He calls them magic dogs, or you know, these dogs were lying on him. Fuck, I wish. Those dogs are everything that you need in situations like this. That's fantastic, but wow. Is this being streamed anywhere, or are they on break? Oh, it's not. No, you can't go and watch. You might be able to see clips. I don't think that you can go and watch it in that sense. No, it's not like that. But they're giving you live updates. I don't know if I'm reading one right now. I might be. But they give you live updates. This is just the preliminary. It's supposed to be happening all through this week. So keep close for updates on your Google or however you get your information. Duke said as the investigation progressed, Stacy Wander made a confession where he acknowledged that Michael was taken into their home and that he was then conveyed by a duffel bag out of the home to another home in Kuna, which is this Brandon Shirtlift's, his mom's place. Duke said the last time Stacy saw Michael was when he was buried in the backyard, their backyard. Michael was not recovered in the backyard, but in the execution of the search warrant to find him, Duke said cadaver dogs were utilized and alerted in the Wander's backyard. The theory of the state is, so that's such a trip. I wonder what happened in the initial where they what happened when the dogs hit on the Red Wing house? What did they do then? What did the cops do then? They just knocked on the door and asked them, and then after they denied it, walked away. There had to have been more than that. I wonder what happened. Well, I'll have to get the body cam. The theory of the state is that the body was removed while Stacy Wander was in custody on other charges, his gun charges. In his confession, Duke said Stacy told law enforcement Michael's body would 100% be in their backyard. But when asked again, he said he had been in custody for 6 months, so he couldn't be sure. So it tells you that everybody else knows too where the burial site is. Duke said ultimately the state will ask the court to find probable cause that Stacy committed first-degree red rum, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. Defense opening statements. Our client, Stacy Wander, confesses to nothing. Michael Vaughn's father, Tyler Vaughn, is the first witness in the state calls to testify. Tyler is wearing the same blue ribbon with monkey in the middle that Brandy and others wore in the courtroom Monday. Duke asks him about July 27th, 2021, the day Michael went missing, and what he did to search for his son. Tyler said he was not familiar with the Wander household at the time Michael went missing. Michael was wearing boxer briefs and a Pokemon shirt the day he went missing. Tyler said the last time he saw Michael was inside. Defense cross-examines and questions Tyler. The defense asks about the layout of his Fruitland neighborhood and surrounding areas, including the location of the splash pad. He asks him about the field at the end of 9th Street near their home. Defense asks if you can access the other side of Highway 95 from the splash pad. Tyler says it is accessible. He then goes on, says the splash pad was somewhere Michael liked to go. He tried to go alone once when his brother went there. Tyler said Michael had wandered off one other time as well. Tyler said Brandy was working that day and he had the day off. Tyler's father, Bob, and 2 of Brandy's children were living in the home at the time Michael went missing as well. Tyler says his stepchildren were home that day. Tyler says he played with Michael both inside and outside that day. He went to wake up their almost 2-year-old daughter from her nap at around 6:15, 6:20 p.m. He says he saw Michael in the living room playing with monster trucks at the time. Tyler ordered pizza between 6:30 and 6:45. He went outside and came back in around 7 p.m. So, hey, Daniel Martel. Daniel Martel, do you hear this? This is a timeline of events. This is a proper timeline. You know, the things that you say aren't worth remembering. Tyler drove to the splash pad and asked neighbors if they had seen Michael. Tyler says he truly became alarmed when he checked the house and he wasn't there. Tyler was on the phone with Brandy and she thought Michael was hiding. The more concerned Tyler got, the more concerned Brandy became. They were on the phone for about 15 minutes. Tyler says he called police at around 7:20 p.m. When he got off the phone with Brandy, the defense questions Tyler about his marijuana use. Tyler says after he had woken up his daughter and ordered pizza, he went outside to smoke. He didn't see Michael at the time, but he hasn't worried yet. He testified that Brandy came home from work about 10-15 minutes after they got off the phone. Police and Brandy were at the house when he returned home from looking for Michael. Tyler says once police arrived at the house, he stayed in close proximity, unlike Daniel Martel did. Tyler Vaughn's testimony conclude. He sits in the front row, and the state calls Brandy next. Brandy testifies about the panicked call she received from Tyler, saying he couldn't find Michael. She says she was on the phone with Tyler while driving home. Brandy went to the splash pad to look for Michael. She then returned home and was on the phone with loved ones asking for help looking for him. She left the house again to search for her son. Brandy begins crying when the prosecutor asks if she ever found or heard from her son again. Brandy says law enforcement told her they were going to use a live scent track dog. She gave the FBI one of Michael's shoes, his favorite pillow, a blanket, and one of his stuffed monkeys to use as references. Duke asks if prior to this incident she was familiar with Sarah or Stacy Wander. She says absolutely not. Brandy says she also provided law enforcement Michael's toothbrush for DNA sampling. She says she and the family got mouth swabbed for DNA. Cross-examination by the defense begins. Brandy says when they were both at work at the same time, a nanny would watch the children. Brandy says she talked to Michael at 4 p.m. when she called Tyler on her break. Brandy testified that she wasn't worried when Tyler initially called because Michael liked to hide under the bed or elsewhere in the house. Defense attorney asks if it was common for Tyler to smoke marijuana and watch the children. Brandy said yes. Brandy testifies that she called her daughter and told her to come home. The defense questions Brandy again about Tyler's marijuana use and asks if she was ever concerned about him smoking and watching the children. Brandy says there was never a time before this that Michael went missing when Tyler was watching him. The defense concludes cross-examination. Court is in recess for a brief break. So, play a little bit of this particular. Actually, I'll start with this one. I want to play this message. This message is from Brandy, the mother, and then we'll go back and listen to the testimony of the officer with the canines.
Too long ago.
Good afternoon. My name is Brandy Christine Vaughn. I am Michael Joseph Vaughn's mama. Michael was abducted July 27th, 2021. There are 4 named suspects in his abduction and murder. Stacy Wander, Sarah Wandra, Adrian Lucian, and Brandon Shirtlift. Currently, Stacy Wander will have his preliminary hearing starting March 3rd through the 6th of 2026. This message is to True Crime with Eve, the Eve Effect. I won't say the other one. I, Brandy Vaughn, am asking you to remove all 233 videos of Michael Joseph Vaughn. I believe that your advocacy for Michael has turned into something not helpful, not healthy, and not right. You have compromised your integrity. You are, how do I put this? Coercing with 3 suspects in Michael's abduction and murder. You speak to the alleged murderer every day. I am asking you to remove all of those videos of Michael because you do not have Michael in your best interest, in his best interest. You're wrong. And justice and the truth will be heard. So, remove all your videos of Michael Joseph Vaughn and do not speak on him or this case any further.
That's not the first time she's had to do that. She's had to chase Eve down on live streams to confront her personally. So keep an eye out for that and just know what's going on in the background. That was from Purple Phoenix's channel, by the way. Hi, Purple.
Just making sure.
This is the beginning of the interview with Stacy Wander, where Brandy confronts Stacy on panel. Very, very powerful moment in YouTube history in that sense. And I'm sorry it had to go down like this on a live stream, but it was impromptu. It wasn't planned that way. And this is an opportunity for everybody who's familiar with Jack and Lily at this point in time to take their minds and look elsewhere. Oh, what's going on, voices? Oh, yeah, there's Cher. What's going on, Cher girl? But it's an opportunity to witness and experience the same sort of lies and deceptions in that sense as Daniel Martel exhibits in the Jack and Lily case. I appreciate that shit. Thank you, darling.
So is there anything that you'd like to say?
Yeah, there's a lot of shit, actually.
Well, I'm just handing you over the stage so you can say what you need to. Looks like you're fumbling around trying to get some stuff ready, so I'll give you a moment.
Damn it. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What? Like,
Yo, Crime Crazy.
I'm sorry, Brandy,
Crime Creepy. Excuse me, I call you Crazy Don.
that Michael went missing. I don't know, nor do I have any idea, or have I had any idea of what happened to him. I'm sorry that you're going through what you're going through, and I'm sorry that you have to deal with this. I wish I had more information to give. I know, I see it. Give me a minute.
Well, I appreciate you coming up. I know you probably don't like me much right now because of what I'm saying, but I do appreciate
No, like, listen, like, I get you're trying, you know what I mean? Like, everybody wants Michael to be found, and I get that, and I respect that, and I want him to be found too. When I said that I've, like, cooperated with law enforcement out of the four suspects, I'm speaking in the terms of when they had questioned me. I was the first person to literally go in front of the panel, go in front of them.
Well, yeah. You're the one who gave up. You're the one who gave the admission to people, the partial admission in that sense. You admitted to culpability and even directed the cops to the point. Told people where they could find the duct tape. You knew that he had duct tape. Trash bags. You even got Chris McDonough to check your mail for you. You remember? Oh, it's an exercise. It was, in the moment, it was turmoil. It just drove your mind. Here's this son of a bitch finally out for whatever reason. And he's actively trying to garner donos and get money for interviews, and of course he's over on certain channels. Well, who did an interview? Justin did an interview with him. Those nuts over there at what's that true crime channel? John, Dr. Babe. No, chair. You go have some water right now. I can't remember. Mateus. Those two nutters. Did an interview with them. Who else? One with Brooks at Crime Lines and Lies. That's a good interview. At least she was speaking out against him. Of course, in the background, he was a completely different individual behind the scenes in that sense. He's a sketchy mofo. Yeah, hidden true crime. Thank you, Explore Corps. He looks like he smells really bad, Explore Corps. Well, it could be the spittoon that he's using. He's always chewing, man. He's got a mouthful of chewing tobacco, like he's a villain right off of what? Looney Tunes, like Yosemite Sam. And it's so disingenuous. It's without any. It's just very difficult to watch when you know how easy it is for him to sit there and pretend that he cares about the mother of a child that he's responsible for taking the life of. And then to get to know the history and his unfortunate upbringing. Like he was a sexual predator as a child in group homes towards other kids. He's been a problem his entire life in that sense. That's sad for a little child, but just imagine having to go through dealing with a person like Stacy growing up. And what stood out in this, I think we'll go to that point in the beginning before we go back to this testimony, is how much of an idiot Stacy is. He's like, well, you must not know, like his answer for not wanting to go into details, not wanting to follow up or go into any extra detail is his disability, his own perceived disability of having what is it? Fetal alcohol syndrome. Excuse me. You must not know anything about fetal alcohol syndrome, though. So he's putting himself in a position to educate other people about all of the reasons why he's not intellectually capable of remembering or answering any of the questions. Think about that for a second. That's like a cartoon level. Like, dude, are you fucked? If you're able to articulate the reasons why you aren't cognitively able to explain things like that away, it means that you're lying and hiding. If fetal alcohol syndrome was really a factor in your life, the way that he wants to express it, you wouldn't be cognizant of it. You wouldn't be able to discern between these little scenarios you're presenting in order to avert any sort of scrutiny or make yourself look better. And it's nothing but the same sort of loose lies that Daniel Martel utilizes, like how helpful he's being, how cooperative he was. See what he's doing here? He's trying to make himself look better, but he's doing it in the worst way, because here Brandy knows so much more about the investigation. And for her, it's a different beast. But it's amazing. She confronted this son of a bitch. And he didn't really know what to do. He knew that he wanted to go through the motions. He knew that it might look better for him. But considering the information that's out, like how do you figure that you can walk around, be this far, and then pretend that you don't know anything about the situation after you directed you directed the police in your backyard and described it the way that you did. Well, he's going to talk about that. It's just such a bizarre scenario. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to me how he can be right there. They have him pretty much in a full admission to the point of moving and operating, digging places up. The dog's hit. Obviously, somebody moved the body.
And tell them exactly our whereabouts that night. Like, I know exactly, like, where we were. I know exactly what we had been doing. Like, I don't know what else to tell you guys.
Oh, welcome,
Like,
welcome,
the
Doc.
same exact statement that I've given the police is the same exact thing I pretty much said throughout the whole entire YouTube podcast that I've done. Like, I don't know what else to give you guys when I don't have anything to give. Law enforcement,
Can I ask you a question?
ask.
The only one question that I have ever had for you that I've always wanted to ask you is, how could you give a tip about Michael being in your backyard if you didn't have some kind of involvement?
I didn't have involvement, and that's the thing. And I've already explained that on another fucking podcast with, I think, Brooks and fucking whoever else I did it with.
You see the answer right there? He skipped over. He's not actually answering the question. He's not acknowledging the question. I've already answered that. Right, Daniel? Daniel loves to use that. I already answered that. I've answered thousands of questions. Oh, I've already answered that, yo.
And quite frankly, like, with somebody else, you guys very familiar with fetal alcohol syndrome. When somebody gets put under an extensive amount of pressure, when that one person is willing to give a statement freely and openly, knowing that there was no involvement, and they keep trying to pinpoint something on you that I never fucking did, number one. I wanted to get them off my fucking back.
So he's insisting on their evoked a false confession right there. I doubt it. Don't think so. I just wanted to get him out of the way, so I admitted to everything. So how do you count for the scent dogs hitting? Left.
I was at the point of a fight or flight mode because I didn't know what else to fucking give them. Like, was I supposed to give them what they wanted to hear? Because I've been telling them the same fucking thing. Like, I don't have any involvement. I didn't have any involvement. I don't even know who Michael is, nor did I associate or talk to the family. Like, we literally talked to very few people in our neighborhood, like our subdivision. We didn't talk to many people other than running our fucking taxi company. We talked to literally Carson, our neighbor. We talked to John across the street and Hazel, the HOA rep, and Sarah's parents who live behind us. Like, I don't have anything else to give. I have literally openly given my statement time and time and time again.
Do you guys not know anything about fetal alcohol syndrome? Maybe that's Daniel's problem too. Daniel, do you have fetal alcohol syndrome? Could be affecting your memory. You need to get in contact with this True Crime with Eve, Daniel. She could help you out.
And reflecting on what details that I can, like, which is very specific.
The thing is that so many of us has seen you talk and everything else, and there were so many contradictions when you were, up there talking. So it just makes us all question.
But no, and I get that. But you also got to,
Oh yeah, he's really gonna drive it home. Try to garner some sympathy here. This, if I remember correctly, is before the leaked video of him confessing to everything came out. He did the circuit beforehand. And then we got to see how blatantly obvious of a confession that it was. And I'd say the sheriff's department absolutely agree. They had to dox your asses out as a PSA to everybody. Matter of public safety. Uh-oh.
I need to get that. And you also got to take into account, we're talking about something that's fucking 3 years old. I didn't give my statement. Like, I didn't start doing podcasts until 2 years after that. And literally until I got out of fucking prison last November. So it's like you're trying to expect me to fucking, like, remember shit to the fucking T. And I specifically noted in any of the videos that I've done, I said my information may not be 100% accurate to the point, but it is to the best of my knowledge. And I have specified that. Like, I don't know what else to give you guys. Like, all I can tell you is that I'm sorry that this boy has gone missing.
Yeah, don't you know about his FAS?
I'm sorry. Like, if I had answers to give, I would give them to you. I don't have anything to give, and I want Michael to be found just as much as everybody else does.
The link that was just added to chat is for Brandy, everybody. Just letting everybody know. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, Stacy.
He's hurting right now. Are you hurting?
Like, I want
But out of everything you could have told law enforcement, you told them Michael was in your yard?
No.
I'm still just trying to make sense of
I
that.
know, and I get where you're coming from, but what else was I supposed to say to get off my fucking back? They weren't listening to the fact that I had zero involvement, and I told them that time and time again, and every one.
Listen, he's purposefully not answering that question. He's disregarding it in absolute 100% denial. You're not explaining it. You're not explaining something that you admitted to, you said.
One of the fucking interviews that I did with them. Yes, I made it. I 100% made it up. But guess what? They haven't fucking contacted me since. And no, I haven't talked to fucking law enforcement. And if they wanted to talk to me, I'm sure I'd be more than willing to talk to them.
So all of this time, it still amazes me that maybe I didn't. I just disregarded it. But I'd be like, so how do you account for the scent dogs tracking you down on the first fucking day, coming straight to your house? What do you say about that? How do you want to dismiss that? Of course he would. That's not the point. But I mean, I'd never heard people ask him that. I don't think. Maybe I just didn't remember it.
Like, yeah, I know. I get where your guys' standpoint is, and that's fine. Like, you guys.
I would have to think that it has something to do with what he had to say to the sheriff's department in there. That's why this dog got caught up in he started talking about places in his backyard. It was a continuation of something they already suspected, or maybe it wasn't common knowledge back at the point of their interview. But Stacy doesn't want to even acknowledge of the things that he told Chris McDonough, that he stated to the people who were looking on the phone with him, searching. You were giving them exact locations. You were a witness to this. You knew who held the shovel and who was digging the hole.
Have your matter of opinions, but maybe study up on fetal alcohol syndrome and what happens when somebody with fetal alcohol syndrome gets put under extreme amount of pressure.
That's so funny he uses that. And you want us to look that up? You want us to look up what happens when a person with fetal alcohol syndrome gets put under an extreme amount of pressure? What does that have to do with you? You're happy with that label in your life. They probably slapped a label on that slapped a label on you to somehow account for just how ugly you are. Oh, you definitely have fetal alcohol syndrome. Take a look at you. Oh, yeah, we had to put a label on him because he grew up in homes. It would have been just a reason to medicate him so that nobody had to deal with you. And you still were fucking, violating your peers in that sense in a sexual manner. Where I'm going with that is that this is really it's like dealing with a PDF file, a pedo, a chomo. And that Stacy is probably a chomo considering his youth and the abuse that he carried out when he was very young. He's probably a victim of it as well. But he's been violating for a long time. He has a long history of it. And so does this Adrian. Stacy is putting himself in a position of being the all-knowing, which is an indicator to me that he's probably responsible and passing off blame to each and everybody else because it's just a way to drag things out. No different than Daniel's doing.
Like, it's not like it's easy for you guys to say years ago. You guys will suffer with it. Like,
well, it's not easy. I mean, we all work really hard to try to find the answers. And I mean, and I can...
Look what he's trying to do there, though. All the people watching this, nobody out there can understand what fetal alcohol syndrome is. That's what he's portraying in that sense. That's what's ridiculous about this. He's doing that to try to draw sympathy. Oh, poor me. Look at what you guys have put me through wrongfully. You guys should be up here apologizing and giving me donations.
I can kind of get what you're saying after it being a long time and stuff, and it's hard to like remember exactly what happened. We just are searching for the truth.
No, exactly. But you guys are looking at the whole wrong direction. Like, I'm not. Like, I just want to clarify something. I spoke with a lawyer when I was in CTEC. It wasn't even calling in regards to a lawsuit. It was actually calling on some stuff that the Supreme Court was doing a ruling on for the 922G. That I wanted to get answers. And the lawyer I'd happened to talk to, his name was Matt, and he actually said that he was retained to represent Brandon if he were to ever get charged. And he asked me who I was, I said, my name's Stacy Wander. And he goes, why does that sound familiar? And then he looked up and he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, Brandon, I'm actually retained to represent Brandon if he were ever to get charged. So, okay. I was like, well, this wasn't even, I said, well, speaking of that, I said, can I ask you some questions? He goes, well, I can't give you verbatim information. He goes, because, client confidentiality. I said, that's fine. I said, I'm not asking specifics. I said, but how did we even become to be suspects? And he goes, first of all, you guys were not, like, per Portland PD.
Wrong, bitch. I don't believe it. So some fucking lawyer that's representing somebody else should you be found guilty is telling you that information freely. You're telling us that he's a lawyer giving you inside information. Well, he's a pretty shitty lawyer then. There's a conflict of interest you're pointing out and talking about already. And how would the defense lawyer know all of the ins and outs about the sheriff's investigation? How does one have to do with the other? It doesn't. Oh, yeah, Lindy, he does have an excuse for everything. Sound like somebody else? Remind you of anybody else? Old Danny? Yeah, inside information. He's playing that card, Explore Core. Trying to get us to believe that he's got all of this information. He's planting the seeds for this information that makes him look like, more part of the procedure and getting to the bottom of things than he does being responsible for it all to begin with.
You guys were never supposed to be alleged suspects. You guys were only supposed to be alleged people of interest. And a person of interest, as I'm sure you guys are all aware, is somebody who they believe that might have relative information or knowledge to help them find this person. We were never supposed to be labeled people or alleged suspects. We were only supposed to be alleged person of interest. The media is the one that had gotten it twisted. And then when
You're
I
just
asked
an
him, I said,
alleged
okay, well,
suspect.
I mean, what do they have? Like, what do they have against us? And he literally told me, he goes, well, Brandon wanted to give a statement to the police. And when Brandon, he was like, I told Brandon that I'm willing to let him give a statement, but he's only allowed to give it on a conditional statement. And I said, what's that? And he said that the police department needs to provide me and give me all of the documentation and the GPS records of all three of you guys that night. And he goes, and he goes, I want evidence that ties you guys to this. And when he told me that he approached the Fruitland PD and told them that Brandon was willing to give a statement, they literally told him that we don't have any problem giving you all the phone GPS and everything and all the records you want. But as far as evidence, he said they don't have anything to give. They don't have anything that ties us to this. That's what verbatim. And if you guys want to look him up, I don't know his last name. His name's Matthew, and he works for Murray, Zellen, Johnson, and Meridian, Idaho.
Oh my God, my phone's.
So you don't know who this guy is, really? He just works at this law firm, and he's giving you all of this information. Well, what an interesting scenario. How is that at all believable, you fucking idiot?
Going crazy. Just letting everybody know, I am not even looking at my phone right now. Stacy Wander's up on panel, as everybody can see, and I'm quite busy, so stop blowing up my phone,
Yeah,
please.
that lawyer did lie to you then, Jed. You're right. If it were true.
Is there a reason why you've decided
that's
talk?
Almost like it's almost similar to how Daniel talks about seeing the box check mark, no criminal, nothing criminal about this situation. I'm not a suspect, of course not. Well, oh yeah, they've told me.
Talk more about protecting Sarah and Brandon lately?
I haven't talked about protecting Brandon and Sarah at all. I speak for myself, but I also know that Brandon and Sarah were with me. We all were gone that entire night, towing Brandon's vehicle back from Cuna.
Right. I've heard that during your interviews and stuff before.
Nothing's changed. I'm not protecting Sarah. I'm not protecting Brandon. I can only protect myself because I can only speak for myself. But I just heard a recording
that Brooks had recorded.
So just to give people updates as he's spouting this nonsense, talking about this trip to Cuna, the allegation is that they took Michael Vaughn to Cuna, to Brendan's mom's house, and returned with them the next day. They took him alive and brought him back unalived, from what I gather at this point.
Here recently, when you were quite upset with her over the cease and desist, and you actually
no, that was her warning. That was her warning. And that's already been reported to my lawyer. I'm not even tripping. It's fine.
Oh, no. I was just saying it was during that recording that I heard you say that, you can protect Sarah and Brandon. So I'm just wondering.
No, I wasn't saying like protecting Sarah and Brandon. I was speaking in general conversation. Like I don't speak as in like protecting them as much as I do knowing where their whereabouts were that night because they were with me. We were all together that night.
Okay.
And first of all, like I want to point out, but like another thing that I want to point out is, don't you guys find it a little odd how they have all this, CCTV video footage of us being parked on the side of Southwest 8th Street when I put power steering fluid in the truck, and they have video footage of me pulling in the fucking splash pad to get my can of chew out of the fucking side of the passenger side of the car. But coincidentally,
well, From what my understanding is, the CTV camera picks up more towards the end of 8th.
No, that's not,
than it
no,
does
because Southwest 8th Street wasn't at the end. It was right directly outside of our subdivision. Might I mention that there's a neighborhood watch which have cameras all throughout the fucking neighborhood, so they can pinpoint us leaving our neighborhood. They can pinpoint us being parked on Southwest 8th Street, and they can pinpoint me being at the splash pad at 1:30 in the afternoon. But somehow, some way, they can't fucking pinpoint where Michael is. They can't pinpoint anywhere on video footage. I mean, don't you guys think it's a little fucking weird?
Did law enforcement tell you?
Absolutely, they fucking did. Yeah, they showed me every fucking thing. That's what I'm like. You guys don't even understand. Like, you guys, like, I get you guys like to play detective, and that's cool. Play detective. But you're not the one that had the encounters with the fucking Fruitland Police Department, nor the detectives, nor fucking highway or fucking Idaho State Police, or the fucking FBI.
Yeah.
Little do you guys know, I'm the one that voluntarily gave a fucking polygraph test and passed it with flying colors. Specifically.
Uh-oh, there's another one. I voluntarily gave that polygraph examination and passed it with flying colors. Hey, Danny? That don't mean shit. Did you?
The 5 questions that they asked.
Are you the only one that took polygraph
No,
tests?
Sarah and Brandon both did it because they both got brought in the same day.
Are you aware of one of your friends that came up on my panel a couple of weeks ago?
Who's that?
I don't know. She was a blonde. If anybody in chat remembers.
Yeah, Jenna, I don't know if they left him alone at Brandon's mom's house that night. I don't think that's how it went at all. That's still unclear.
Her name, her like YouTube name. She was saying that she was your friend, and then she pulled you up on her phone while she was up on my panel screaming about Adrian was at the house that night. And we know that you've said that Adrian was not at the house that night, but your friend was saying that he was.
I don't know.
So I'm just curious.
A blonde friend? I don't have any blonde friends. I'm sorry. I don't
Country Cuz. Her name was Cuz, C-U-Z. And then when
Who?
she came up on panel, it came up Country Cuz.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
Yeah, some blonde girl says that she talks to you all the time and that you've...
No.
She was not saying that you said that Adrian was at the house. She was just trying to convince everybody on panel that Adrian was at the house and he's your friend and she knew. So I was just asking you, was Adrian at the house that night?
No, I like I said, I specified that. Adrian was at the house because he was the only one that was left there when we had left. Because we had asked him if he wanted to come with us that night, and he said, "No, I'm going to stay home." And
so you're saying that Adrian was at the house when you guys left to go to Kuna?
Yep. And I told you, I specified that on panel.
Oh.
But he didn't have access. He didn't have access to any of our vehicles. We don't ever leave our fucking vehicles or any of our means of transportation anywhere in the house. And we would never let him drive our vehicle.
Was he there when you guys got back home after the towing?
Yeah, he was in his fucking room.
I'd personally never heard that before, so.
No, he was in the room. Like, he was in his little fucking bedroom that he fucking destroyed when he left with his fucking little pubic hair of his fucking head. Like,
do you know who the Pope twins are?
who?
The Pope twins?
No. I have no idea who the fuck that is.
I have a recording. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I have a recording. It's of one of the Pope twins pretty much sending a message to Adrian when Adrian threw them under the bus for Michael's abduction. You don't know anything about that?
I don't even know who the Pope twins are. I've never heard of them a day in my life. Like I
Yeah,
said,
Gabriel and Christian Pope.
Sarah and I ran a taxi company. We were not there to make friends.
Jenna, are you saying it was said in the affidavit that he was taken in a duffel bag and left at Brandon's, and Brandon and Sarah went back the next day and brought him back? Okay. Tyler, Brandy, what did the cops say? So, preliminary hearing resumes. The next witness called is Dustin Witt. In July 2021, he was a senior sergeant for Merced County's Sheriff's Office in California. He was in charge of the canine unit and handled the scent trailing dog, Banshee. He was called in by the FBI to assist the investigation using his canine. Banshee, you say. Witt says they utilized a scent transfer unit to track scents. Witt was in Fruitland on August 2nd and August 3rd of 2021. He testified that his dog Banshee alerted to Red Wing Street and Meadowlark Street in Fruitland. He testified that Banshee was on trail and led him to the corner home on those cross street. That is the home where the Wanders lived. She showed interest in the general area of their home. Her head was popping left and right like she was trying to find a way into the yard. Really? He testified that Banshee was on scent at the Wanders' home, but not beyond that. She specifically showed interest in the garbage area and gate into the backyard. Witt testified that Banshee showed trailing behaviors around bluff area nearby. She exhibited the same behavior around a tree and trail in that area. Prosecution wraps up questioning. Defense now begins its cross-examination. Witt says Banshee is not a cadaver dog. That's a totally different skill set. This was the team's first time in Idaho, Witt says. He says things in common area of a home are not good items to help track scent. If a particular item belongs to a person, Witt says, that's a good item for scent tracking. The defense questions Witt whether scent differentiation is more difficult when articles of clothing come from a home where people sleep in various places. He said yes. The Vaughns testified that their children slept in their room. Defense asks how scent differentiation would work if multiple people used a pillow that was given to him for scent tracking. He says it wouldn't work as well as somebody's shoe, for example. He questions if Witt could know who Banshee is tracking if multiple people used that item. He says, in theory, no. As Brandy previously testified, she provided law enforcement with Michael's pillow, which she also used, but she also provided them with one of Michael's shoes, a blanket, and one of his stuffed monkeys. Witt testifies that he followed Banshee first to a home with deer antlers in the front yard. She showed some interest. He corrected her and she got back to work. The defense asks again about them being in a new location and how that could have led her on the trail. Defense asks how he knows whether his dog is on trail or just checking something out, and Witt says because of years of working with her. Witt testifies that the FBI first gave him Michael's shoe for scent tracking after the home with the deer antlers and started showing good trail behavior. On that particular trail, Banshee went down 8th Street towards the bluff area. Defense asks about her behavior on a different trail when she led Witt to the two houses on the corner of Red Wing and Meadowlark. She says her head went up to the gate between the two houses and she showed strong interest. Banshee was trailing based on the scent from Michael's shoe. The defense asks if Banshee can take the scent from a child's shoe and tell us certain things like maybe where that child has been, but it can also tell us where someone else has been if they also wore those shoes or were in common area with those shoes. The defense asks if those trailing areas could have been related to someone other than Michael Vaughn, and Witt says that could be correct. The prosecution is questioning Witt on redirect. Julie Gibson takes the stand after lunch. She owns Mountain States Cadaver Dogs and handles cadaver dogs who find deceased human remains. Gibson helped with the search for Michael Vaughn's remains at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and a home in Kuna in November 2022. Gibson says the dogs are only trained on human remains. Her dogs will not alert to somebody who is alive or to animal remains. She says a dog would fail certification if they alert to animal remains. She says she gave her dog a search command, put on her collar, and worked on and off leash in the Wander's backyard. Gibson testified that her dog had a change of behavior with deep scenting on a portion of the fence by a tree, as well as an edge closer to the home near an irrigation box. Gibson says the backyard had been excavated by search crews by the time she got there. Other than a foot and a half along the fences, her dog's behavior told Gibson that there was a scent in that location, but not that there was still a body in that location. Gibson says one of her dog's strong points is she does not false alert. The defense begins its cross-examination. Now, Gibson testifies that her dog's final indication of alerting on human remains is when they laid down on the spot. She says her dog laid on the irrigation box in the Wander's yard. Gibson believes law enforcement then hand dug around that area because it was around irrigation pipes and close to the house. She didn't watch the dig. Gibson says she went back to the home and into the crawl space a month later. There was no indicators there. The defense confirms there was no body parts or large pools of blood found in the dig, but Gibson tells the attorney her dog will alert on residual scent. That's what she believes was happening on this day. The state calls Deborah Herbert to the witness stand. She's a canine handler and a trainer for human remains detection dogs with Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue. She says her dog's trained final alert is very active, explosive down. Hulbert helped Fruitland Police Department with a search at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland in November of 2022 as well. She was asked to search the full exterior of the property. The backyard had been torn up at that point. If there were odor present but no body, Duke asks if that would impact the dog's behavior. Hurlbert says the excavation dispersed the odor so it could alert in other parts of the yard. Defense begins cross-examination of Hurlbert. Her dog did trained alert final response about 2/3 of the way through the backyard. It wasn't necessarily along the fence line. Hurlbert says she doesn't remember seeing an irrigation box. Deputy Bryce Crimmin with Washington County Sheriff's Office takes the stand after a short recess. He worked as a detention deputy in November 2022. He helped facilitate virtual meetings with Fruitland Police and Wandra. Crimmin received an email saying that Wandra wanted to send a Thanksgiving letter to the Wandra family, and they were not to send that out. When Wandra was on suicide watch, he found the letter addressed to the Vaughn family. On November 12, 2022, he helped facilitate a phone call between Wander and Fruitland PD to discuss a body. The defense begins cross-examination. Crimmin testified that Wandra was in their jail because he was a federal inmate who was being held there. Crimmin said that he went through Wandra's belongings in the jail on his own. Crimmin then sent a copy of the letter to his father, who was working at the Fruitland Police Department. He sent it via email and put the letter back where it was. Crimmin testified he was asked by his father to help facilitate a meeting between him and Wandra. Crimmins said that it's common to search inmates' totes at the jail, and it's routine policy to do so while they were on suicide watch. The state calls Carson Starkey to the stand next. He was neighbors with Stacy and Sarah Wandra. Starkey testified that he saw a big wheel tricycle at the Wandra's home and had never seen it before. In cross-examination, Starkey told Wandra's defense attorney he would help the Wandras out with auto mechanic work. Starkey said he saw the big wheel tricycle through an open gate at the Wandra's home. Jason Horst is called to the witness stand. He's a captain with the Idaho State Police. KTVB observed Brandy hugging him and crying in the hallway prior to his testimony. Captain Horst testified that he saw a pink and white big wheel tricycle at the entrance to the Bluffs subdivision behind a decorative stone with the subdivision name in between trees. The location of the tricycle stuck out to him. Horst said he found the tricycle on August 5th, 2021. The tricycle is still in evidence. During cross-examination, Horst said he had been to the Bluffs neighborhood multiple times searching for Michael. Horst learned through the interviews with ISP detectives a witness saw Michael on a big wheel. That's how he knew his tricycle might be important. Horst says he was not involved in evidentiary testing that may have been done. A witness named James Schmidt is on the stand. He is the final witness of the day. Schmidt testified that he found the big wheel tricycle over the bluff near his home. That area is a dumping ground, and he was searching for something in there when he spotted it. Schmidt put the tricycle by the Bluff subdivision sign after he found it. Wandra appeared Monday morning for a brief procedural status conference, where the judge confirmed with the defense and prosecution that they were ready to move forward with the preliminary hearing. Brandy sat in the front row of the courtroom on Monday, surrounded by some friends. She and her husband are expected to be in the courtroom for the preliminary hearing on Tuesday, which was what we just read. Wandra walked in wearing dress clothes and shackles and sat down at the defense table with 3 other people. Payette County prosecutor Michael Duke sat alone at the prosecution table. On Monday, Duke told the judge that there is so much discovery in this case, so it is still ongoing. He noted that he and the defense team have been in consistent communication, but the defense has not received everything yet. Brandy said she is somewhat relieved this is all finally happening. Because now everybody can see what law enforcement and the prosecutor have been doing, Brandy said. I've been saying I trust Fruitland Police, I trust Mike Duke, and they're still working and bringing in leads and following up. It's still an active, ongoing investigation. Stacy, his ex-wife Sarah, and 2 other people who lived with them at the time of the Vaughn's disappearance, Brendan Shirtlift and Adrian Lucien, were all named as suspects in this case. In 2022, Sarah was charged with failing to report Vaughn's death, but those charges were later dropped. So the probable cause affidavit filed in June was unsealed after Stacy Wander appeared in court on November 17th, 2025. The document outlines searches, interviews, and evidence gathered following the boy's disappearance. During initial searches of approximately 300 homes, police say canine units tracked Vaughn's scent to a residence where Stacy Wander, his wife Sarah, and 2 other roommates, Brandon Shirtlift and Adrian Lucien, lived. All 4 individuals have previously been named people of interest in the boy's disappearance. According to the affidavit, one neighbor reported to police that they saw Vaughn riding a tricycle in the neighborhood the day he disappeared. Another neighbor reported seeing that same tricycle at the Wandra home during a garage sale months before Vaughn's disappearance. The Wandras initially denied any involvement in the case. However, in November 2022, Stacy requested a meeting with investigators, according to this affidavit. During that interview, Stacy claimed he was home the night Vaughn was abducted and saw Sarah carrying the boy into their house. Stacy allegedly told police it was originally Lucienne's idea to abduct a child to sell for money and that they would receive a $10,000 cut. He claims Sarah told everyone to follow her lead, according to the affidavit. Stacy told investigators that Sarah, Shirtlift, and Lucien duct-taped Vaughn and placed him in a duffel bag. He claimed they took the boy to Shirtlift's mother's home in Kuna that night, where Vaughn remained overnight. According to Stacy's account, the other three returned to the Kuna residence the next day and brought the boy's body back to the Wandra's home in Fruitland. He told police that Sarah and Lucien buried Vaughn in their backyard. Following his interview with detectives, Stacy allegedly told his mother during a jail video that Sarah accidentally unalived Vaughn by suffocation. 2 days after Stacy's interview with police, investigators executed a search warrant and excavated the Wander's backyard. Law enforcement said 5 cadaver dogs alerted to the same area where Stacy told detectives Vaughn's body was buried. Despite the search and ongoing investigation, Vaughn has not been found. Law enforcement has not announced charges against Sarah, Shirtlift, or Lucienne as of yet.
Yes, we helped people out occasionally with a place to help them get on their feet. Yes, we allowed people, which is why we're in this fucking predicament. And not just
Link,
this
please,
predicament.
Brandy's asking for it, everyone. Sorry to interrupt you, Stacy, but Brandy's ready to take the link.
Okay, go ahead.
Can somebody throw that up, please? Stacy, please be nice to Brandy.
I'm not a heartless person. Like, I've been wanting to talk to Brandy for a minute now. Like,
I know. I just know you get upset sometimes. I don't know if we're going to have a very upset, screaming, yelling mama here or not, but please, no matter what she says or does, let's just keep her cool and, try to talk to her the best you can, please, without calling names or yelling
fine.
or anything.
I'm not even tripping.
Okay. Does somebody have that link, please, for Brandy? I did not copy it down. And I've turned my phone. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on one second. Let me grab.
Everybody knows you guys can use fucking Bluetooth headphones on this shit. Can you hear me?
Yep, I'm here. I pinned the StreamYard up at the top, Brandy. What were you saying, Stacy?
No, I just didn't know if I could use headphones on this shit. So it wasn't working, but now they're working.
I can still hear you. I can't hear you as good as I could when you didn't have them in, but as long as I can hear you, you're good.
I'm not trying to let people hear it.
Oh, people you're around now?
No, I'm at the shelter outside.
Brandy, the link's at the top in the pin section at the top of chat.
Yeah.
I'll try old school way.
Hello, Mr. Wandra.
You can just prove I'm my name, it's okay. We're all...
It's my preference.
I got you, that's fine.
I have so many questions. So many. One, your lawsuit and slander. It's not slander if you're a named suspect, correct?
Not a named suspect. That was the media that fucking got that twisted.
Excuse me, named suspect.
Can't hear you very good, Stacy, and I think it's because you got your things in. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Uh, can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear
Yep.
you.
Okay.
Let us know if you can hear both of them, please, in chat. And then I'm just going to hand over the stage to both of you guys.
So, Stacy, why did you contact law enforcement and say that you gave that tip about Michael being buried in your backyard?
I never contacted them. It was when they had approached me at about the 5th interview that I had with them. After
So
telling them the same exact statement that I've given them the last 4 times.
I've
If
been
you
trying
had,
to put like a timeline of everything together. Like from your recollection of that day with what I've seen you do with the internet with YouTube creators and stuff. I've tried to watch all of them, and you talk about your timelines and everything, and then you've discussed about your timeline with law enforcement. I'm just curious because you're stating all these different times in all these different people, uh, these different people's interviews. I'm sorry, you have to forgive me right now. I'm very, very sick. My mental
I
fog is
know,
absolutely hell. And honestly speaking with you is,
not easy.
no, sir,
I
it is
don't
not
blame you.
easy.
I don't believe you. I mean, I don't blame you. Like, Brandy, I've been trying to talk to you for like a minute, and I know it's taken a lot out.
And Stacy, you cut out.
Sorry.
There you go.
Like, I know it's not easy talking to me, Brandy, and and it's not, you know, it's never gonna be easy talking to me because and all you've heard is my videos that I've done with either law enforcement or done on YouTube, but I've never directly spoken with you. Like, I need you to know, Brandy, I didn't have anything to do with your little boy, nor did Sarah, and nor did Brandon. We would never allow ourselves to be involved or play a part in something as serious as like this, let alone yeah, I have a felony history, but guess what? My felony history doesn't pertain to sex offense crimes. I have 2 federal gun charges and 4 state felonies, 1 in Idaho and 3 in Oregon. Like,
Did he just say sex offense crimes? Did I hear that wrong?
You're stating all these different times in all these different people, uh, these different people's interviews. I'm sorry, you have to forgive me right now. I'm very, very sick. My mental
I
fog is
know,
absolutely hell. And honestly speaking with you is,
not easy.
no, sir,
I
it is
don't
not
blame you.
easy.
I don't believe you. I mean, I don't blame you. Like, Brandy, I've been trying to talk to you for like a minute, and I know it's taken a lot.
Yeah, that was unsolicited. Nobody suggested that to him. Yeah, no, we're going to listen to it again, McKenna. But in this situation, it would suggest that there is more to it. Like, he's leaking, I would say he's leaking his true intent. Like, don't get fooled with this $10,000 crap that he told the cops in there, that was just a story. He volunteered all kinds of information just to be able to delegate whose responsibility other than his. And that's what he's the first in doing in that sense. He's trying to pass off responsibility to other people. Just like he's been doing since he was a kid in care, touching up on the other kids in his group home. He's always been really a sex offender. He was a sex offender when he was a kid. Nothing's really changed.
Out.
And Stacy, you cut out.
Sorry.
There you go.
Like, I know it's not easy talking to me, Brandy, and and it's not, it's never gonna be easy talking to me because and all you've heard is my videos that I've done with either law enforcement or done on YouTube, but I've never directly spoken with you. Like, I need you to know, Brandy, I didn't have anything to do with your little boy. Nor did Sarah, and nor did Brandon. We would never allow ourselves to be involved or play a part in something as serious as like this, let alone, yeah, I have a felony history, but guess what? My felony history doesn't pertain to sex offense crimes.
Yeah, he did say that. He did say sex offense crimes. Wow. So, in my mind, that's a form of leakage in that sense.
I have 2 federal gun charges and 4 state felonies, 1 in Idaho and 3 in Oregon. Like, I want your boy to be found just as much as everybody else does. It's not fair. And I wish that, that he could be brought back to be reunited with you because that's what you deserve. I wish that I could magically make him come back for you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. This guy, he's lying with his denials, but just the facts. He said he doesn't have anything to do with sex offenses. Nobody solicited that. Nobody suggested that. He's introduced it.
Like I hurt every day because I feel for you guys. And if I could make some fucking magic happen, I would. If I could fucking automatically just play the the psychic detective, I would. I don't have anything to give you, Brandy. And I'm sorry you're suffering, and I'm sorry you're sick.
Remember, we're speaking in the sense of detecting deception through statement analysis, as opposed to taking the lying suspect at his word and filtering out his claims. But there's some hedging going on, but that's what I'm getting at, just the facts. Now you understand. And nobody was talking anything about this being a sexual offense at this point in time. Why would he volunteer that information? That's a slip, in my opinion. That's a form of leakage. He's leaking the cognitive load that's cycling around in his head, the things that he's lying around, what really happened to Michael Vaughn. We know that he kidnapped them. They're all, as far as I'm concerned, they're all responsible for the exact same things, but we're getting specific here. He's the ringleader to all of this. Stacy is the ringleader. He's the one who's placing himself in a place of knowledge over everybody else. Now he's trying to pretend and walk back his admissions. Obviously, let's put it this way. Unfortunately, they've introduced this, and it's a possibility of it having an underlying sexual premise to the nature of the crime. That's what it's looking like. Now, because Stacy is sitting there wanting to introduce this $10,000 bounty for any child that they can kidnap, and they all were in agreement and went and grabbed Michael Vaughn off the street. It never panned out. It's not a real thing that they were engaged with. It's just his claim, and that claim is there to protect the true nature of their culpability. He knows the truth behind that, right? And that's what he's hiding from. And he's already given up this bullshit story to authorities. Like, in reality, to the greater sense of the case, they don't need the motive in order to find him guilty or criminally responsible in all of this. It's just, the motive behind the sense. You know what I mean? Oh, I love Mike Just the Facts. Get the hell out of here. No, but there's no... Anyway, I'm starting to talk about two different things at once here. Now, so in a sense, Stacy has already brought up that there is a sexual connotation associated with what happened to Michael Vaughn, because they were going to receive money, according to Stacy, which he's telling us a story we don't believe. And what do you think that individual who was paying all that money for Michael was planning to do with him? Okay? That's the sexual end to all of this. And he's trying to put that off on somebody else, like he's doing with all of the responsibility over to Sarah and Brendan and Adrian Lucien, when it's him himself, which is the customer to that sexual desire that would, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is no network of individuals. There's just this fucking pervert. There's this chomo on your screen, Stacy Wander. So not forget where we're getting all of this admission and information from. How he doesn't want to answer how it is he cannot know what happened to Michael or not be involved in anything when he just has all of this information to share. And it's as simple as him sitting there pretending that his fetal alcohol syndrome is responsible somehow for it all. That's not going to fly. And it didn't fly for the sheriff's department. Hence, they doxed their asses all over national TV. You don't see a government agency ever fucking dox people. Look at how different that is in comparison to what's going on in Nova Scotia. It's the exact opposite. It's like, that's exactly, I'm just trying to remember back to how I was feeling at that time when it happened. They had to recognize everything that we did as well. And looking back, it was an accurate depiction at the time that this was happening, because we recognized what the problems were, considering what this guy's probably guilty of. And wouldn't that make him a threat to public safety and the lot of them? And that's exactly what forced their hands into sharing their images on a special breaking broadcast on all kinds of networks. That's such a rarity. You don't see that very often. So it changes the. I think it changed the. How should I say that? It's not change. Because he could stop as the person being questioned. As soon as you request counselors want to stop talking in certain situations, the detectives can't press you any further. But how the fuck do you ever expect, from Stacy's perspective, to ever put that genie back in the bottle? Do you guys remember what it was and how he was saying it? Let me see here. Let me pull this up. Just a second.
Area, and she really never went around to, a lot of other places in the yard to dig, if you noticed. Like, she was usually stuck to, like, one area, which is pretty usual for, a hound dog.
There was nothing wrong with him in this circumstance. He must think that this fetal alcohol syndrome excuse is just the cat's meow. It's ridiculous. This is the leaked 1 hour. I'm actually getting this from KTVB. But this is Stacy in this leaked audio. Maybe I'll go back a little bit. There's different parts. It's an hour long. I'll put it. Actually, you can go search it.
Like right where the dirt piles are.
Right where the dirt piles are. About how far off of the fence?
Right.
Go ahead. Okay, walk over there and you point us to where it needs to be.
Okay. Now keep going out a little further.
Well,
Keep going out a little further.
Law enforcement had all kinds of evidence. Listen, there's a reason you bring in tracking dogs when a child goes missing. Because they're reliable. And they were reliable in this case too. In Daniel Martel's situation, the fact that they didn't pick up on any scent anywhere tells you right away it's probably a strong contender that they didn't go into the bush, especially if the dogs can't pick up a scent and something else happened. Key is something else. Yeah, Jen. He was large and in charge in all of this. Everybody was his friend. He was the center of attention. He was having a grass-touching moment, we'll call it. He wasn't under duress. He wasn't under stress. He was voluntarily engaged in helping the investigators, and beyond that, Chris McDonough in all of this. He has an interesting role in this, especially in this phone call with Stacy. Like, they're talking about specific key details about the appearance and presentation of the corpse of poor Monkey. Like, so much more information than you would really be talking about, in my opinion, but we'll get there.
You're going to have to climb that mound.
It's like right under that mound area.
It's right under the mound, about where at compared to the trees?
A little, like, right to the right of the trees area.
Right to the right of the trees. Look at him. I mean, yeah, I think what we're looking for, trying to describe, is rapport. They have a rapport built up between the investigators and Stacy here, just like Daniel interprets they do, or likes to say that he does in front of a camera. But your relationship isn't going all that great now, is it there, Sunshine? He even told law enforcement where the duct tape was stored on the shelf in the garage. Exactly, McKenna. Precisely, the Iron Sheik would say. Precisely, McKenna. 9489.
the trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little
So,
bit. Where
can
the
you see-
building.
Okay, where at now?
Now he's off the dirt mound. It's like underneath the dirt mound area.
And about where he's standing?
Yeah, a little bit less, like closer to the house.
Come closer to the house?
Yeah.
And what is he wrapped in?
He should be. I mean, it should be a garbage bag.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
what color is
it should be in a garbage bag. Look at this. Corey Edwards, the duct tape is significant. Absolutely, because it was used as a weapon. It was probably, most likely, the key piece. And if what he's claiming is true to be true. Now, why would you ever be sitting there admitting to something that you're going to get the chair for? Or you're going to get, in Idaho, it could be the firing squad, we'll call it.
the garbage bag?
It would either be white or black. We only had two colors.
I want you to direct him from the fence where that orange thing in his hand is. Where do we need
exactly.
to stop it?
He wanted a deal. He wanted immunity in that sense, to give up all of this information to implement 3 people in all of this. That was what he had going for him. And one, you know what I mean? I'm with you. Yeah, trying to get a deal, but Michael wasn't found. Which, in my mind, I don't know about yours, but tells me that more than one person knows. That means probably they all know. And they knew that Stacy was behind bars, so they went and took it upon themselves to move the body. Was who was involved in that exactly? Who speaks gets the deal. He pissed that Sarah and the gang moved, Michael. They took the control away from Stacy. That way Stacy couldn't squeal on them and give them up in that sense. Like he's doing right now. Whoever made that call made the right call. Put them in charge. I think they took it. Not to make a joke out of things, but that's what it looks like, doesn't it? I'm going to say that person's probably Adrian Lucien. It's not Brandon. Maybe it is. Who knows? But the way that Brandon Shirtlift lies in his interviews is just one of the... I'd say I'm even going to go and describe it as cute. It's cutesy tootsy. It's ridiculous. And he really likes to dumb down certain things. He wants to write things down so he has time to think about it before he comes up with an answer, as opposed to, being an unwitting participant to something and wanting to relay accurate information in the first place. It's the exact opposite. Oh yeah, maybe I'll look into that. And of course the interviewee has to play into that sort of nonsense. It's not their fault. It's not Sam's fault. She did a good job. That's why we probably divorced Sarah. That's why he probably divorced Sarah. Oh, well, this is a relationship killer. What the fuck? I mean, what sort of weird shit was going on in there to begin with? Like, I mean, he just set such a bizarre scenario. It's probably... look at how toxic a relationship can get. Remind you of anybody else's toxic relationship out in Nova Scotia in Payette County? Just the facts. The first to squawk gets to walk, usually. Maybe that's what he's interpreting as being cooperative and helpful. Look at how helpful he's being.
Right about there.
Right about there. Okay. All right. We will try there.
Okay.
Do you have any other suggestions for us, Stacy?
I mean, like I said, that's where he was buried.
Okay.
That's the last place I had known. Again, haven't been home for quite a while, and a lot of shit. You know what I mean? So the only other place I would say, if he's not in that backyard, is go to Cuna to Brandon's house and check in the backyard by the tree area.
Okay.
Why would he say Brandon's house back by the tree area? You can check him. Tell me that old Brandon Shirtlift has a lot more to do with this. What the fuck is Brandon even doing hanging around these guys in the first place? They're all roommates. This is what you get with weirdos on Craigslist. These are Craigslist sex offenders here. These are fucking weird dudes, bro.
We're gonna finish here first, and then we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay.
So does he need to go right or left?
Do you remember how cringeworthy it was to listen to Stacy describe Sarah's sex life and how they're inclusive, and she's trying to have a baby and was whoring herself out and taking in homeless people's seed, we'll say, trying to get pregnant. It's just such a bizarre scenario he was describing himself, actively participating in. What was really going on? Like, what is it they're hiding? What's in their private lives that they don't share? If this is the way that you describe your intimate partner's details in that sense. It's just such a fucking bizarre thing. I mean, if this is what he's admitting to, even if it's a lie, what is it that he's hiding?
That general area, that bucket's enough to dig, but you're going to want to start digging underneath the dirt piles.
Okay. How far down is Michael?
I don't know how far she actually dug, to be honest with you.
About. Give me an estimate.
How far she dug. So he's saying that he made Sarah dig the hole. You ever seen a woman dig a hole? Neither have I. Fuck, if it was only that simple. You don't see women digging too many holes unless you're Janie out in her driveway filling in potholes. So he's already told the cops we can take that he's implemented Sarah and being the one who's dug the hole. Why the fuck would Sarah? I guess she's a real tough guy around there. She's built different. She's built like a linebacker. Still, it doesn't matter how tough you are. You don't see very many women digging holes like that, especially with a bunch of dudes around. Just for simplicity, you would have thought somebody else took the shovel. Old Brandon's the one that's going to hold the flashlight while come on. It doesn't seem right. And Stacy, look at the size of him. He can barely operate around and get himself around. He wants to pretend that he's so morbidly obese and affected by this fake ass disability. Not that the disability itself is fake, but his having it is fake. In that sense, the way that he wants to apply its effectiveness and how it impairs his judgment to get himself into these situations. Oh, hold on. I think I'm having an FAS episode. Whoa. Am I having an episode? Come on.
I mean, maybe 4 or 5 feet.
4 or 5 feet? 4 or 5.
4 or 5 feet? You think the bitch dug a hole 4 to 5 feet deep? Holy shit. Who is she? Like a 7-foot dude? I don't think his measurements are as accurate as he like to think. Talking shovel depths, boy. 4 to 5 feet. You fucking wish. Be the frost line out there in Idaho. Probably around where it is here, maybe about 3 feet under the soil. Not that would matter to them at that point in time. It's soft back in there anyway. That's all backfilled in and not very old houses. nice grass, probably loose soil. That is now. You would have thought that if it was dug up, well, it has such nice grass that they probably just tore part of the part of the grass up a little bit, like the sod.
5 feet, that's probably taller than me.
I like I said, you asked for an estimate. I'm giving you what I mean. It's probably shorter than that. I don't have an exact idea.
Okay, when she dug the hole, was she standing in the hole?
She's standing outside of it.
Okay, and was she using a regular shovel?
I think it was a bull nose, or what do you call them, pointed ones.
Okay, and did the shovel,
A round
was she
mouth
able to
shovel.
stand on the outside of the ground and the shovel able to reach the bottom of the hole?
Yeah.
Okay, about how far down was the shovel in the hole?
I don't know. Let's say like 3 feet down, 2 feet down. It's. I mean, I don't have a. Like I said, I don't have an exact, measurement like to give you. I mean, I didn't pay attention that far.
That's okay. Okay, we will try where you suggested, and I will call you back. Okay, Stacy?
All right. Thank you.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't have to wait here.
Have to wait here or what?
If they call us back, we'll come back
Yeah.
here and call you back in. Okay?
Can you try to advocate and see if you can get a hold of
You guys want to advocate for this sex offender right now? He's got FAS. He's having an FAS attack. Are you able to advocate on my behalf? What a fucking asshole. What an entitled fucking weird pervert. God damn. But it's just the... Oh, look at my disability. I need to be accommodated. This is a fake ass dude. There's people out there that are deserving of people's acclaims, we'll call it. This guy is walking around asking people to advocate for him. Hey there, you look like a low man on the totem pole. Why don't you go get me something to eat? Why don't you advocate for me and get me 2 large pizzas? Make sure it's fucking with 3 meats on it. A lot of protein. I'm gonna need it. Advocate for some smokes too. This fucking guy. What else do you want?
was one of the LT or or not LT because he's hunting, but the sergeant and see if but taking me away from the only thing that helps me with is being able to talk to my mom. And all I want to do is talk to my mom.
You see that? They've got this fucking guy broken in there. He's broken and crying like a bitch, talking about to the cops how he needs them to advocate for him so he can talk to his mom. I need her. What a baby. What a fucking pussy. What a little encapsulated child he is at this point in time. He wants to talk to his mammy. That's right, McKenna. That's all I've got is my mom. It's a crime for you to be preventing me from conversing with my mother. She means everything to me. All right there. All right there, Norman Bates. You can imagine what poor Michael's thinking. Or what he can't do.
Can you try to advocate and see if you can get a hold of was one of the LT or or not LT because he's hunting, but
yeah. Do you mind advocating for me and calling down there to the cafeteria and making sure that they leave the mustard off my hamburgers? And I want an extra one too tonight, please. I'm helping you guys solve this case. I need a little bit of your attention.
The sergeant, see, but taking me away from the only thing that, one of the only thing that helps me with is being able to talk to my mom. And, you know, I mean, all I want to do is talk to my mom. That's the only thing I really want. I didn't even barely get a chance to talk to her much last night because everything was so. I mean,
okay, well, I'll talk to who I can and see if you're allowed to make calls.
Do you want a back rub too? And how's your slippers?
And we'll go from there.
You want some ice water?
Like I said,
can I fluff your pillow up for you?
I'm on the patrol side of it, so I don't really know what happens back here too much. So, but I'll give you my word that I'll go talk to him right now and.
I'm just a traffic cop.
See. So basically, all you want to do is talk to your mom, right?
I just want to call my mom. I have minutes on her side.
Okay.
So in calling her, I don't have to worry about them resetting a phone number for minutes or anything.
Okay.
I mean, it's just she has a prepaid account on her number.
Do you guys mind if I go take a shit?
Okay. Well, we'll put you back over there, and I'll talk to these guys and see what we can do for you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for helping us out, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
See, looking back now, everything that he was doing was performative in all of this, and it was a transactional relationship. Wouldn't you describe it? That he was expecting something that never actually came, and he then went and retracted. Fuck, you've admitted to being involved in all of this, you stupid ass. Said that Sarah dug the hole. You talked about the hole. You talked about the duct tape. You've talked about all of this nonsense. About where the kid would even be on Brandon's mom property. That's something? Frosty wants a Coke and a smile? He has this sense of entitlement because he has this label of fetal alcohol syndrome. He's got a justification to behave badly in his own mind. That's what the way he's twisted it.
About 600? Yeah. Brandon, boys, come on over here, man. Don't thought of it. I didn't put there. Can I holler at you, please?
When I get a chance, man, I am like knee-deep in paperwork.
I don't know, I'll do it in a second, please.
Get back into your pen.
Hello? Hello?
Hey.
Perfect.
Here's a conversation with Chris McDonough. He's got such a sad face. You got to see this face he's got. Looks like a puckered butt. Oh, look at this. Sorry we had to wake you up from your slumber.
I wish you didn't have to be sick because it's not fucking fair. Huh?
I'm asking Brandy if she's there.
I'm down in Portland. So I got tonight and tomorrow. That's it. Okay. I cannot run out.
Do you have any more questions?
Brandy, you can ask me any questions you want.
You want me to have something?
I can only give you the truth, and everything that I've said before. There's no difference to it. I wish I had answers to give you directly, other than what you have already said.
Oh, I got kicked. Ah. I'm behind. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
What is that?
Why do I have another Brandy Neal trying
That's what you guys don't understand.
to bury him? And then you're the one who says something about a tip in the backyard. So, I mean, these three things specifically tie both of you guys in somehow. I mean, why would you ever admit to any of that if you didn't have some kind of...
But I never admitted to any of it. That's what you guys don't understand. Did you not hear any of, like, Sarah's shit when she got arraigned in court? Where they initially charged her? And how she claimed to be me in court? Like, I'm not making justifications, nor am I protecting her. But she obviously had a lot of mental shit going on internally. What I can tell you and what I can give you is what I've given you. I only speak for myself at this point. But I can also tell you that Brandon and Sarah were with me that whole night.
Okay, here's Brandy. She's back again. Sorry, hon. I know it's hard to hear. He is at a shelter right now, so there's a little bit of voice going on in the background.
Okay. Am I echoing?
No.
Nope, you're not echoing.
Okay.
Take a few deep breaths, Brandy. We know that it's hard. We know.
You can ask me any questions you want, Brandy. You can ask me anything you want, and I'm only going to give you the truth.
No. Give to Brandy Smith. You don't want to bring it up fast?
Why are you lying? Who are you lying to? Me or law enforcement? Or the world?
I'm not lying to anybody. I haven't lied, Brandy. And that's the thing. Like, I don't have, nor have I had any involvement with something like this.
Technically, yes.
Like,
The highest pay. However, not all of it is.
your boy deserves to come home to you. And I want nothing more than for him to come home to you and your family. Yeah, I'm on the video. Sorry. Like, I can only give you what I've given law enforcement, what I have given the world of YouTube. I wish that I could give you something more. I wish that I could be a psychic fucking detective or an investigator that could just tell you who's responsible for this. But what I can tell you is it wasn't me, and it wasn't Sarah, and it wasn't Brandon.
It had all after his surgery. Yeah. To bring it up to you. A big portion of it. That didn't need a big portion.
You're stating right now that it was not you, nor Brandon, nor Sarah, nor Adrian?
I can't speak on Adrian's behalf. Adrian was the only one that was home at night.
That's got the most iron that it's.
But I also know that Adrian did not have access to any of our vehicles. We don't never left our vehicles or the keys available to him.
Though.
Say it again.
They steam it, which steams off the iron. Which steams off all the.
He didn't hear that last question, Brandy. Could you repeat yourself?
I'm sorry. Is this better?
It's fine. It's just loud because there are a lot of people talking at the shelter where Brandon is at.
You know what?
You say you can't speak for Adrian.
I don't know what I will be.
Okay. Does Sarah take insulin?
Yes, she's insulin dependent.
All trans is not enough fucking cooked seed.
How come
Make sure you get on
Sarah
spinach.
said you
It's
buried
not
Michael
too
in the
low.
backyard.
Dip it in a little bit of ranch. Solid.
How come what?
It's
Or
How
get
come
whole leaf spinach.
Yep.
Sarah
It's good with
said you buried Michael in the backyard?
Just like she said that her name was Stacy in court. Just like she said that the most highest God told me that Stacy did it. Just like the most highest God told me that he was buried in Carson's backyard. Does any of her fucking statements make sense? Because I'm pretty sure, Brandy, that I have told the same fucking, given the same statement, given everything. And it's never, and I literally, when I've done the podcasting,
it's kind of, we don't have
that my
You saw,
information may not be 100% to the T, as this is almost a 3.5-year-old case.
1,240 days to be exact.
Hey, and I'm sorry that it's been that long. You should not have to go through what you're going through, Brandy. And I'm sorry that you are. And I'm
Michael should
sorry
not be
that you're
going through
suffering.
this.
Hell no. What is this? A fat kid joke? Okay, get away. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Oh, well,
Thank
no,
you,
go
buddy.
with the deflection. Were Sarah and Adrian making fake girl accounts to get, how do I say this? YouTube politically correct? Ladies of the night. How does that work? Yeah, is that okay, Sam?
yeah. You say anything you want to, Mama.
Did you know about that, Stacy? Did you know Sarah and Adrian were making false accounts to get working women?
No, I did not. But I also know that Adrian had approached Sarah and said that he said that if you help me create fake accounts, that I'll pay you a percentage. And I remember telling Sarah specifically, don't fucking do it.
So you didn't have any involvement in them setting up fake accounts to meet guys and rob them because
not
they're
at all.
smarter than you?
Not at all. I wouldn't allow myself with that.
They didn't set that up? Oh, but so you knew that they were setting it up, but because they were smarter than you, Adrian and Sarah were, that they were going to do it to rob these people so you guys had money?
No, and we never, to my knowledge, the only income that we were getting, Brandy, was from our taxi, from doing taxi rides. There's a reason Aero Express got put out of business because of their pricing and how they were out charging people. There's a reason we were the only taxi company in Fruitland, between Fruitland, Ontario. Like, that was our source of income.
That was the only, what happened? Oh, the lube company.
The lube company didn't work out specifically because Arturo Rojas, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Mm-hmm.
You cut out, Stacy. Oh, there you are.
I'm right here. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, I got blow my
No, like Arturo Rojas was the owner of the Looks New, the detail building that we were renting a shop bay out of. And in our contract agreement that we assigned, it said that he would allow us to use the air compressor that was set up in there and the wash bay system to be able to spray off the concrete inside the shop so that we didn't leave oil stains.
Yeah, we know.
And when his daughter had come in there doing an inspection and coming to talk to us, I had the air compressor going and she threw a fit about it. And then it caused a huge conflict with her and her dad. And we just decided that, look, like,
hey, good to see you, Terry.
We're not going to do this. Like, we had an agreement. It was in the contract that you would allow us to use the air compressor and the stuff in the shop until we were able to get our own air compressor and get it on our feet. And so that's the reason we had moved out of that shop. We've also had a company called Wandra Mechanic and Repair.
Mm-hmm.
And that was only a temporary thing because I just,
Right.
I
Okay.
didn't
So
want
you had all of these. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you had all of these businesses that you tried to get to work. Right. I want to know more about this plan to setting up fake accounts and pretending to be women.
I can't. Here's the thing. So I can't give you more than what I can tell you right now.
You can't tell me about how Adrian.
No. Like what I'm telling you is I don't know anything other than Adrian.
So it sounds like they were setting up, or they had all these sock accounts where they're catfishing on Craigslist.
When he first came in to stay with us, had approached Sarah and said, hey, I'm trying to find a way to make some money. I have an idea that we could create some fake accounts as women and get money from people. And I specifically told Adrian and Sarah, I said, no, you guys shouldn't be doing this shit. That's illegal, number one. And number two, it's not right to take from people.
Okay.
And I specifically told Adrian because he claimed that he got disability or fucking workers' comp out of the state of New York somehow or some way. Because the whole deal was when we agreed to let him stay with us, it was, I'll pay you, I'll pay you $250 a week to rent out that room. And we're like, okay. And then when the first week came, and because he's like, I get paid this such and such day. I forgot what day it was. He's like, when I get paid this day, I'll give you guys $250. Well, that day came, and he's like, my money didn't hit. And then we're like, okay, well, we're just going to add it on to, what you owe us for this week. Well, then the next week. I'm sorry. I apologize for being,
Thank you, Stacy.
I don't mind the swearing. Absolutely not. We know I have a similar, but if it's bothering other people, definitely.
I know, and I apologize, guys. I'm sorry for the words. Brandy, I can't give you.
Go ahead. I really want to. I hear more about Adrian and his time with you guys, because I want to understand more of this. Was that okay? I'm sorry. Please continue. Finish what you were stating about how Adrian didn't pay you the $275, and then the next week you were at the next week. I'm sorry.
So after the second week came, he was like, I can only give you $150. Well, it became a repetitive pattern. And see, when Adrian, so Adrian was a quote unquote taxi ride that Sarah had taken the call. And when Adrian had called her, and this is what Sarah told me, that Adrian had called her and said that he was going through a hard time. He was staying in Caldwell behind some fucking dumpster or whatever he claimed. And Sarah had asked me, so she goes, so I wanted to talk to you. She goes, I have this taxi customer that had called that, is going through a hard time. He's down and out, and she goes, I wanted to talk to you about possibly helping out with a place to stay. And I told Sarah specifically, I said, you know how I feel about this. I said, yes, I don't have a problem helping somebody out. I said, but we have been burned on multiple accounts from helping people out. And I told Sarah that it was not a good idea. I did not feel good about it in my gut. But I told her, I was like, look, I said, you're going to do what you want to do. I'm not trying to argue.
Okay.
So if you bring him here, then bring him here.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
let
me cut you off right there because I don't want my brain to get muffled right now.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So let's go to that day that Adrian brought up this.
The fake profile?
Yeah. Did Adrian come the same day that Michael was taken?
No. Adrian had come I think he was at our house for at least 2 months.
2 months before then? When was the time that he brought up the day
he came to stay with us? It was that night.
that
because
night?
we were trying to confirm with him. We were basically trying to vet him because he was claiming how he got employment benefits from New York, but then his story didn't match up to me. I just didn't get it. I was like, how do you get employment benefits from another state when you don't even live in that state? It just didn't make sense to me. And then when he approached the question about saying, hey, there's a way we can make money, he had asked Sarah. He didn't ask me. He had asked Sarah, and I was in the room. And he had asked and said, hey, would you be willing to help me if, create some fake profiles and we can make money off of people? And I specifically told Sarah, and I looked at her and I said, no. And I looked at Adrian too, and I said, no. I said, I'm not okay with this. I said, that's not okay to take from people. Or is it okay to create a fake account just so you can bank off of somebody and create, a false prostitution act or account? I said, I'm not okay with that. And I told them that, and I told them my boundary.
Wow.
And from that.
Another leak. He's talking about setting up fake accounts to catfish people and set them up and rob them. He just said prostitution. Oh, I'll just bet Stacy was the the moral individual of them all. Oh, this isn't right, everybody. I told him it wasn't right. It's fucking probably your idea. So you were catfish con artists looking to rob people and set them up. What a nightmare you guys are.
Point on, I don't know what happened.
So let me get this clear. So the night that you met Adrian, and he came to live with you guys, he proposed this to you all.
Correct.
Okay. And then, so he continued to stay with you, and this was 2 months prior to Michael being
your boy's disappearance.
His abduction, correct. So I'm sorry. If I got the chance to speak to you, I'm trying to go off. I have a list of things I want to ask, and I'm trying to.
Brandy, ask anything you want. I'm an open book.
It's okay, Brandy. We totally get it. It's got to be like the hardest thing in the world. Plus, we know that you're sick, and I don't know if you know it or not, Stacy, but I don't know if it's the medicine or her illness or whatever.
I know.
Kind of.
I've been praying for her. I want you to know that.
Let's
she loses train of thought. So
yeah, let's get back on track, because once it goes, and it's really hard and it's embarrassing for me, because then
it's okay. And I want you to know I've been praying for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it sounds like to me, Stacy, Adrian is maybe a pretty bad guy, and it sounds like he got.
Well, and that's what I told Sarah, because that's exactly what I told Sarah after we went to bed that night. I literally approached her and I said, "Are you fucking serious?" I'm sorry. I said, "Are you serious right now?"
Mm-hmm.
I said.
Did you say I'm fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? Were those the exact words? Like, I want.
No, I literally told her. I was like, "Are you serious? Like, this is like," I said, and I told her, like, I can't remember the exact wording. Okay, like I said, we're talking, almost 3 years, So what I do know is that I did have that conversation with her when we were in the bedroom. And I told her, I said, that's not okay.
Okay.
I said, and I asked her, I said, doesn't it throw red flags at you that this dude's trying to sit there and try to hustle money off people?
So did that cause like an argument? I mean, did
not with me, per se.
Did it get heated between you and Adrian at all?
It caused tension. I mean, I had set my guard up against Adrian to start after, especially after approaching that question?
I would assume so. Yeah. I mean,
Because that's not.
You get the idea with this asshole. Are you buying any of this? No. I'm going to shut it down here after 2.5 hours, friends. We'll come back and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Continue on. Thank you very much for sticking it out tonight. And God bless Brandy wherever she is, of course. What do you say, McKenna? There's a video of Brandon walking towards the splash pad. Yeah, that's the video he denies being himself. Doesn't even look like him, he says. Yeah, it's evidence. Anyway, we'll get to the continuation, part 2, tomorrow. Be around for it. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it, darlings. Leave you with some of that G-Funk, of course. That G-Funk, what? What?